everyone, I'm the Vacuuminator.
I'm Buster.
And this week in Tokusatsu, we're going to be talking about fucking nothing, because there wasn't superhero time this week. Alright, goodbye everybody!
Yeah,
I'm joking. There's fucking news. There's, the Ultraman happened, I think, probably. We'll figure it out as we go along, don't worry. It's a weird one. It's just us alone here, like always.
Yeah.
But there's less to talk about this week. How have you been, Buster?
Not good, Vac.
Oh, fuck, me neither.
Yeah, you go first.
Well, remember last week how I told you my mom had gotten a car accident?
Yeah.
Still haven't resolved that. My mom still doesn't have a car. She's been driving my car all week, and it's driving me up the fucking wall.
That's why you had to get an Uber.
Uh-huh. I mean, she's filling it up with gas and shit, so I guess I really can't complain, but also, like, that's my shit. Someone else is using it. I'm OCD, so it's making me really high-strung.
Fair.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, it gets resolved soon.
Yeah. What about you? What's got you high-strung?
Just we're approaching down to the end of the semester, so we're starting to pile up.
Yeah, I get
that's
that.
all I got.
Several of the teachers in my building were there pretty much until I left today, which is very unusual.
Maybe they were like clubs, or making sure the kids don't do extra.
No, it was just the teachers doing like paperwork for finals and stuff. I mean, like they're usually gone by like 5 o'clock, and I leave at 7.
Teachers have to actually work.
Yeah, how about that?
What a novel concept.
We're never getting database on this show, are we?
We already got him
again. We're never getting him here again because of your rude comments about teachers. They're gonna offend him.
He's the best one.
Yeah. He is, every disparaging word I've ever said about teachers, he's exempt. Him and him alone. But you know what you're not exempt from, listeners? Supporting Modular Media, the creative collective that we both belong to and allows us to create this podcast on a weekly basis. If you could, please help us out in the YouTube algorithm by giving this episode a like, commenting on it, subscribing, and clicking the bell in order to enable notifications if you haven't already, because that'll help us out in the YouTube algorithm. If you're listening on a podcasting platform, please follow us there to help us out with that algorithm. And in order to keep up with anything and everything we're doing, please follow us on Twitter at The Modular Media and join our subreddit, which is r/Modular Media. But that is all the plugging there is to do. So, shall we head into some news, my dear Buster?
Sure, why not?
All right. Well, we're gonna start off with some toy news, real quick, which is that surprise, surprise, and I do mean literal surprise here because fucking PulseCon exclusive Pudgy Pig isn't quite as exclusive as everybody thought. Now, I figured we would be getting this at retail eventually. But apparently it's just part of the current wave, and they never said that. Because people are finding it at stores with the entire current wave. There's actually the first person to find it found it along with the entire current wave of single releases. And it's also the first time anybody's found In Space Pink, and pretty much confirmed In Space Pink did have her shoulders fixed, which is why she was held back for so long. So, as has been proven time and again with this line, if you tell Hasbro there's details missing from a suit, they will do their level best to correct it.
Honestly, this brings up like a problem I've kind of had with Power Rangers, not just Hasbro Power Rangers, just Power Rangers for like the entire last decade. They do a pretty piss poor job at communication.
Yeah.
There's we don't really know things until they're out. It's and then maybe you'll get an interview or two.
It feels like that's always been a problem with the brand from what I hear from older fans and whatnot. But in the internet age, it does become more glaring.
Yeah, I mean, comparing it to, I don't want to do this, but to my head, Marvel, we know every little detail of a Marvel movie or comic before it comes out. Unless the things they want us to. But with Power Rangers, it's I guess here, vague idea of what this could be. And it annoys me. It annoys me very much, especially as someone who wants to engage with the brand,
Yeah. I mean, I would argue somewhat on the Marvel comparison, because, like, there were things in Eternals that I was completely blindsided by, but maybe that was just me.
That was you. I've heard a lot about it.
Oh,
So,
well, good for you, buddy.
I haven't seen it yet.
Well, go see it. It's good. You'll like it. I think you'll like
I heard
it.
it's by
I don't know. I don't know your tastes. I'm not you. But I am somebody who collects toys, and I can tell you, I will be trying to get the retail version of Pudgy Pig as seen here, because it looks virtually identical. It's just, of course, not coming in that lunchbox style packaging, and it won't be coming with any of the food items that the PulseCon version had as accessories. So he is still getting his fork and knife weapons and the effects piece.
This probably came at a weird time. I recently just watched Pudgy Pig's episode project I've already saw on Twitter.
The secret project that's not a secret.
Yeah, that I'll keep it on all YouTube platforms, but not everywhere.
Oh, excellent. But yeah, I think it's cool that we're getting Pudgy Pig so soon. I wish we had known a little bit more about it. Like, this is a problem I have with Hasbro in general, not just Power Rangers, but they tend to do exclusive things and then de-exclusivize them as time goes on, and I don't have a problem with that. I have a problem with the fact that in recent years they've become less and less transparent about it. Like with the fact that we literally did not know about this Pudgy Pig until somebody found it, and now it's up for pre-order everywhere. Which, if we didn't already mention, hey, go to whatever online retailer you use to pre-order Power Rangers toys, and it's probably up there. But that's just a personal pet peeve I had. I am still happy we're getting it, and because we're getting a retail version, I'm more likely to get one now, because I do like Pudgy Pig. He's one of the more memorable MMPR monsters.
Yeah, again, like, further tease that secret project. He has one of the better MMPR episodes, but, like, I don't think it's as good as people say, but it's better.
It's just memorable. I think it's memorable to a lot of normies because it's clearly one of the only suits they actually had access to early on.
Yeah, with, like, the whole, like, original footage, which, yeah, that was actually, like, surprising. I was like, oh, like, because of how cheap, though. Again, I'm in the secret project. You probably already know what it is.
Yeah. Well, anyways, moving on from Power Rangers toy news and on to Ultraman toy news, the full solicitation for the Ultraman Trigger DX Black SparkLens Trigger Dark version has come out, and as you could probably guess by the name, it is a black repaint of the SparkLens with some small additional details. I do like how it looks like they've done something different with the translucent bits to make the detailing stand out more, and the little touches of like not magenta, like teal is the word. The little touches of teal all throughout it really help it pop, in my opinion.
Honestly, like, if this wasn't Premium Bandai, I might consider picking it.
Mm-hmm. I do want to get a regular SparkLens, though. That strikes me as a really cool roleplay toy. And, like, if I already had one, I'd be like, maybe I'll get this. But as it is just like, that is neat, I don't think so.
Yeah, honestly, actually, I haven't mentioned this, but I really love the USB gimmick. It's probably one of my favorite. Mainly because I had an idea similar to it, but whatever.
I haven't messed with it, but just looking at it, it seems like it would feel very, very solid and tactile compared to a lot of things.
That's all for Ultraman?
Yeah, that is all the Ultraman news this week. So let's get into Kamen Rider news with the thing that I did not expect to become the major conversation on Toku Twitter this week, but apparently was. For those of you who are unaware, there was a big television 50th anniversary special kind of thing, episode of a variety show, I think. I'm not really clear, but they put
polls.
Yeah, basically, there were big fan polls in Japan determining the popularity of various types of Kamen Rider-related things. The free polls listed by this article are productions, which basically means a series of movies, characters, and music from the shows. So basically, what we have here is a definitive, at least currently, a definitive way of seeing what is popular for Kamen Rider in Japan, because most of our conversations tend to revolve around what the Western fan base thinks. And I think it's interesting to take a look at this, not just from like a popularity contest perspective, but like, Toei and Bandai have to be looking at this too, of like, okay, this is what's popular, maybe this is what we base future seasons around, doing similar kinds of things.
Boy, did this poll made sense of all the debt. Like, I knew Dead Note was popular, but I was like, wait, Double and O's made more money than Dead Note. But I was like, oh, that, like, it's still the most popular show, well regarded among fans and, like, the people of Japan. So it's like, oh, that's why they keep bringing them back and using Dead Note elements. Ah.
Yeah, I've always heard it was huge at the time, because trains have just always been huge in Japan.
Also the comedy stylings of...
Yeah. But, like, this was really interesting confirmation, because I'm going to go ahead and read off the poll results here.
Yeah. Actually, before you read them off, I'm surprised, yet, like, very interested and kind of glad Gio's movies placed higher than Gio itself.
So let's get into it without any more spoilers here. The total votes were 56, or I'm sorry, 5... I don't actually know how you would verbalize that number.
A lot of people. 500,000, I don't know, around more than 500,000 people.
Yeah, roughly in there. Forget my unlearned person. But 66.1% of the voters were male, and 33.9% of the voters were female. 30% of the votes were submitted by people between the ages of 20 and 29, and the next biggest demographic are voters 19 years old and under, making up 24.2% of the votes. And the results for most popular productions, Kamen Rider movies and shows, is number 25, Kamen Rider V3, number 24, Hibiki, number 23, Fours, number 22, G.O., number 21, Decade, 20, Kabuto, 19, A to Z, Gaia Memories of Fate, 18, Agito, 17, Black, 16, Real X Time, 15, Drive, 14, Heisei Generations Forever, 13, Oberquartzer, 12, Gaim, 11, Blade, 10, 01, 9, 1971, 8, X-Aid, 7, Fies, 6, Ryuki, 5, Build, 4, Kuga, 3, O's, number 2, Double, and number 1, Den O, which
no Zeto on the list, meaning the list is sham.
No, I found the list both like confirming some things I thought, but also like surprising. Like, we've always talked about in the West, like, oh yeah, Gaim was the most popular show they had since Den-O, and yet going by this poll, it's ranked number 12, which is kind of insane. Like, I would have thought it cracked the top 10 at least.
Might be, I don't know, maybe 01 was just that popular as, like, a start to the new era. And, reevaluation happened. Was that great, That's
one can only hope.
Yeah. I'm actually surprised that 1971 got pretty high up. Like, I thought it was like, I thought it was like, people respect it, but didn't consider... I mean, I'm pretty sure 1971 is great. From the episodes I saw, it's very good, but people, like, legit still loved it.
I almost have to wonder if it isn't, like you said, voting out of respect, because there's a lot of traditionalism and respect for elders in Japan. So it might be something like that. Like, I know it's had numerous Blu-ray releases in recent years, but I have to wonder how many younger people in this demographic have actually seen all of 1971.
Well, it should be relatively accessible with the advent of streaming.
Fair enough.
I know, like, some full Kamen series on Japanese.
Yeah, and I know some people were saying, like, Ryuki being up there was pretty surprising to them, but honestly, I kind of saw it coming because, a lot of people recently in interviews, a lot of actors have been saying, like, oh yeah, Ryuki was the show that was on when I was growing up. That's the one I remember. Um, but
Also, like, I'm surprised they didn't include Dragon Knight. Apparently, Dragon Knight at the time was more popular.
But like the grouping of Build, Kuga, and O's does surprise me. Like those are all shows I like, but I wouldn't have expected them to be in the top 5. In terms of Japan popularity. Also, just like some of the movies that made it are hilarious. Like, I don't like Overcourser or Heisei Generations Forever, so it was pretty surprising to see those even on this list.
I think it's the meta aspect that spoke to in those movies.
Potentially, yeah.
Also,
I mean, I love Real X Time, so I'm happy it's up there. But like, I'm surprised. Oh god, what is it? Megamax isn't on here, and people always tell me Megamax is amazing.
Maybe that's more of like a
Perhaps. Gaia Memories of Fate does make sense though. That's another one people have been telling me for years I need to check out.
It's good. Eternals person. I hate the color fill.
All right, so let's look at the ranking of most popular characters here.
I'm gonna list all of them
because there's a total ranking of 50. So
ones we want to talk about.
Let's just do the I'll say the top 25, and if we want to mention anybody else, we can kind of get into it. But the top 25 is Blade, Geo, Agito, Meteor, Hibiki, Joker, Gem, Black, Eternal, Black RX, which is interesting because that's the same character, V-Free, Wizard, Zeneros, 01, Croz, Grease, Build, Ichigo, Kabuto, Decade, Fies, O's, Kuga, Double, Den-O. Almost the exact same top 10 as series.
Yeah, like you got like people from the...
You can tell that's a period where like people were really enthralled by the main writer of the show.
Yeah. Also pretty happy that Evolt got in the top.
Yeah. There were some on there where I was like, oh wow, that's a villain writer that didn't even come close to turning good. Okay, like fucking Shadow Moon is 45. He's not even officially a common writer.
Maybe he will be common in Shadow Moon and Black Sun.
Possibly. But yeah, there's some interesting takes on there. Like I said, Black and Black RX being counted as separate characters is just hilarious to me.
I find it pretty cool that like the first of the non-primary writers are both build writers, like Cross Z and Grease. I wouldn't put Grease above Cross Z, but
yeah, Zeneros is in there too. That's another Den-O writer. My boy Wizard cracked the top 15. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's great. He deserves it.
I'm pretty happy Decade is way higher up in the character ranking than series ranking, because that just confirms my opinion that I've held for years of like, Decade the show sucks, Decade the character appearing in other things is amazing.
Yeah. Also surprised we haven't, apparently Revice was included in this poll. But apparently I haven't seen any Sabers. What's going on there? Do people just not like Saber?
I guess Saber bombed in Japan.
Man, now I feel bad.
Right. There's also a ranking for best songs from the series. Now they did have a full 50 ranking, but this article only lists the top 15, so we're just going to go over those real quick. Going least popular to most popular. Number 15, Journey Through the Decade. 14, Kamen Rider Black RX. 13, Alive Alive. Real X Eyes, Surprise Drive, Elements, Time Judged All, Justifies, Climax Jump Den Liner Form, Double Boiled Extreme, Climax Jump AAA Den-O Form, PARTY Universal Festival, anything... I know, but that's they want it to stand for something, so I say it out that way. Anything Goes, Be the One, and Excite is the most popular Kamen Rider song in Japan. Yeah, I mean,
I really like that Party's the best movie.
I mean, I like it, but it's no Dragon Road.
Oh yeah, Dragon Road. Yeah, I mean, like, I think they're both like neck and neck with each other. It's just I like them both for.
Also, there's freaking 2 different versions of the Den-O form on this, of the Den-O theme on this song.
Yeah. Well, Denliner form is it's not like the best song, but it's very personal. Not better, but it helps it.
And I mean, like, I'm happy that Surprise Drive is on the list, but like, Spinning Wheel didn't even crack the top 15. Damn, Spinning Wheel's a banger. Fucking bombastic bussin' banger right
didn't
there.
get any Gaimyu in the top 50.
Yeah, you'd think Rambo Escalation would be in here somewhere.
Yeah, I was just about to mention that's one of my favorites.
I mean, I prefer Raise Up Your Flag over it, but I know Rambo Escalation is like the song everybody goes to with Gaim.
I prefer Rise Up My Flag too, but like they hit different. Rise Up Your Flag is like.
And of course, Time Judged All. Everybody loves Time Judged All for appropriate reasons. Freaking. I used to enjoy listening to it every once in a while, despite having not seen the show. But like, I am surprised Alive Alive made it on here because I didn't think of it as like a hugely popular song. But again, like I said, Ryuki's kind of in nostalgic vogue right now in Japan, so it makes sense.
Speaking of nostalgia vogue,
yeah, let's go ahead and move on from these rankings and get into an announcement that I think kind of blindsided everybody, but certainly made us all happy. Toei has announced that there will be a Kamen Rider O's 10th anniversary film. Kamen Rider O's 10th Core Metal Resurrection is coming out next year, and we already have a trailer.
It looks sick. Again, all the O's formed. Apparently, Pututira's making a comeback along with Ankh.
We're getting a new movie form for both Build and O's, which are iterations on classic forms with new color schemes, but look very neat. There's going to be 3 new core medals introduced that I'm sure have something to do with that new O's form, and they got a majority of the cast back.
I think it's everyone, like all the supporting players, except for like the person who did the like.
Even Happy Birthday Man came back. I'm excited to see him one more time, and like I'm also really surprised by this trailer because most of the actors don't look like they've aged at all. Like the only one who I was like, oh, you've definitely gotten older is Goto.
Yeah. Actually, Goto even then, I thought it was like Hina that.
I mean, she definitely looks mature, but she's still recognizable. It took me a second to go like, oh, that was Goto.
Well, maybe just because I really like Birth, so I recognize.
Fair enough, and I do love Birth too. Freaking, and Date is coming back too, man.
Everyone's and we got like a couple new villains. Like we got King O's, we got Kick Bash form. That might be an upgrade for King O's. I really love Birth's. It looks it's a much better final form than whatever just putting a bunch of equipment itself.
Yeah.
Wonder if they're finally going to commit to revive.
I hope so. I hope that's the plot of this movie, because it seems like, with the fact that Ankh only shows up at the end of the trailer, the story might be about, like, finally getting Ankh back permanently.
Yeah.
And perhaps he only shows up, like, towards the end of the second act.
It teased it all the way back in Megamax, and they could have done something with it in Heisei Forever, but final. Also, I love when, like, one of my favorite shots of the trailer, like, Eiji and Ankh staring at each other, and then an explosion goes by. They knew what they were. They knew what they were doing. That's all.
Also, just like freaking, we're getting 10th anniversary projects for both 2011 shows, O's and Gokaiger. Toei truly knows what the best year they've ever had is.
Yep, 2005.
Oh.
I'm just a big Blade fan. Was Blade? I keep forgetting if Blade was 2005 or 2004.
Probably both.
Yeah, but which one it started?
We can check real quick. We do have Google.
That's what we're using to make this podcast.
Yeah. 2004.
Okay, so 2004 is then.
Fuck off.
Yeah, very excited. Gonna be great. O's is one of my favorites. Very excited. Like usually when legacy content with Rider happens, it's like, oh, that's cool, but I'm like, I wish it got with this or that. And now we got like something that appeals specifically to me.
It also makes sense just from like a Bandai perspective, because like they've been doing Shinchoku Seiho figure arts of O's recently, and wasn't the CSM of his belt not too long ago? So they can update that stuff fairly easily with the new movie forms.
Yeah, maybe they'll finally do like an all-in-one.
And just in case I forgot to mention it, the movie is scheduled to release in August of 2022, so we'll probably be getting subs sometime, probably actually this time next year.
Because like I apparently they're gonna do a Toei Tokusatsu fan club premiere or something. Who knows when we'll? I wonder how long the movie. Because the last video and the next.
Tengo Kaiger is only 40 minutes.
No, not Tengo Kaiger. I talk about the last Rider video.
Okay. Because I know Tengo Kaiger just premiered in Japan a couple weeks ago.
I haven't checked how long it is. I'll probably.
Yeah, I'm avoiding spoilers, but anyway, moving on. Seiji Takaiwa, who you may or may not know as the suit actor for pretty much every main writer throughout the Heisei era, has announced that he is leaving JAE, which is the agency that he's been under during that whole period, and he's going to be pursuing independent work going forward. Which
Avengers cameo, here we go.
He just shows up in a rider suit. He's like, "No, it's my IP."
Yeah. Okay, so that was a bit like, but he's still working. He's doing more free stuff. But like, come on, you can do it. You can do it.
I mean, like, he stepped down as the main writer, and he's been, like, slowly phasing out of suit work in Toku over the last few years, which makes sense because he's been getting up there, so, like, to see him move on like this, it is a little bittersweet, because we probably won't be seeing him do any work for Toei for a while at least, but, like, it's also kind of like a, hey, good for you, man, you know what you're worth, and you're gonna go out there and bet for yourself, and I can't disparage that.
That's all I got. I move on. Time travel?
Yes. So there's a new trailer for Heisei Kamen Rider Beyond Generations. Almost flubbed the title of the film there. Which is a very short, just kind of voiceover thing, but it does, at the very end, finally debut, at least from the chest up, what Kamen Rider Century is going to look like, the new movie exclusive rider from 2071, and it looks very predictable, I'm going to say.
Yeah, it looks like a remodeled 01.
Yeah, it looks like what Toei thinks a future rider would look like, which, it's like, I can't be too upset about it, because that's the way movie forms are usually handled. It's just the best they can do with what they have, but, like, I always kind of secretly hope for something really wild and different, because it's gonna be a whole different era by the time we get to 2071, so, like, do something crazy, and, like, this does look fairly different. I like the kind of compound eye look and the overlay translucent skeleton he's got going on in his chest, but, like, that's the most interesting thing about him.
The colors I'm a bit mixed on. It's like, okay, the blue and white, not the biggest fan of that color scheme.
Yeah.
And I am very interested to see his belt, because from the images, it looks like he has like a remodeled Typhoon.
As long as it's not, like, tied to any recent writers' gimmicks, I'm fine with it.
I don't think it will. I'm probably going to do it. Honestly, I'm more excited to Saber interactive Revice, and Century's nice, but
the main selling point of the movie, Buster's like, nah, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, but to be honestly, I know it's like the 50th anniversary that celebrates the 100th anniversary, oddly. But, like, I just like Saber. I just want to see him interact with the Revice boys. It'll be fun. And hopefully it'll be better written than the first time.
Fair enough. But moving on to our final piece of news this week, we've had more trademarks come out related to Avataro Sentai DonBrothers. This time, presumably for a bunch of frickin' toys. Yeah. Yay! Toys! Woo! Yeah.
Hold on, they look like yet.
Yeah, it's just more names. I'm going to read off some more names. Are you excited? Be excited for more names. That's how news works. All right, so first off, Avataro. Just that word on itself has been trademarked, and the article here from Toku Nation is speculating that perhaps it's for a particular character, perhaps a mentor character for the team.
Maybe just the main protagonist is called Avataro, and he's egotistical of the Sentai name.
Yeah, and he's a bald boy with arrow tattoos. Oh man, I can't
really
wait.
did another Avatar.
We also have the Zanglass sword, okay, and the Dawn Blaster, which I actually kind of dig. The big hit of Dawn Blaster. That actually sounds kind of cool. That sounds like what you'd name a goofy Sentai villain.
Honestly, it just made sense. It's like, oh, well, they're DonBrothers, Mr. Blaster, God Blaster.
I'm interested to see what Zanglass sword ends up being related to, because it doesn't have anything to do with the name. Unlike RoboTaro, who is probably going to be the first mech of the series, and Don Omataijin is how. Yeah.
So, like, what I'm guessing is RoboTaro is going to be, like, the red stone mecha, and then the Omataijin is going to be the combined, like, kind of like GoBuster.
That would make sense.
And, like, some people are speculating it could have to do stuff with, like, avatars and worlds, which is, we haven't done, like, have we done GoBuster?
No, and I don't even really think of, GoBusters as that much of a tech theme season, though I suppose it is.
Yeah, it's like, that's a side mode. Like, I know it's more focused on spy and multiple.
Yeah. If this is like a tech theme season, I kind of hope like they do a throwback to like fucking Mega Ranger. Make it like full on video game device themed, but for the new age. Some
people are speculating it's virtual reality. I'm kind of mixed on. I'm like,
oh my god, Code Lyoko Sentai, let's go!
I'm more thinking about reboot Sentai. It's been on the mind. Rewatch it. All the news we got, I think. Yeah,
that is all the news that's fit to print. So, Buster, why don't you take us on to the new release?
Ultraman Trigger, New Generation Tiga, Episode 16, Nearing Destruction. I have not seen this episode, but I am almost caught up on Trigger.
Yeah, you had a week. You had a week without Rider and Sentai. Fucking Golf Gum struck, and we don't have Rider and Sentai this week, and yet still, you cannot catch up on Trigger.
I was so close. to doing
it. Damn.
Anyway, blab about the new episode.
This is good. I liked it. Yeah. Fucking. It's mainly about Ignis turning into Trigger Dark for the first time and like going after not Ijirude. What's the fucking blue boy's name?
The alien voiced by Mao? No, the fancy guy who keeps French.
Yeah.
Zen?
I don't know. I don't know his fucking name. All I know is he destroyed Ignis's planet. So Ignis has become Trigger Dark to try and kill him, and it's a whole thing of like, oh, you made a transformation device. That's cute. Why don't you play with this monster I just found from 1,000 years ago? And it's just a big old Muppet that just wants to eat shit and can't really be bothered with Trigger or Trigger Dark, but like occasionally they'll bump into it while Kengo is trying to stop Trigger Dark, and he'll fucking wreck their shit instantly. It's a really interesting monster dynamic, and it's a kind of kaiju I don't see often, because when I say it's a Muppet, I mean it literally looks like a hand puppet.
Nice. Is that all?
Yeah, not much else happens in this episode. It's a solid episode, but like it's clearly part 1 of 2, because the monster gets a second, much more terrifying form by the end of the episode, and it's kind of like it's a big oh shit, what are we gonna do moment. Also, there's a hilarious sequence where like the show totally worked me, because for some reason, Kengo is having trouble as Trigger, and so Yuna tries to call on Yuruzere's power, and like there's this whole sequence of like they're showing flashbacks to all the time she's used the power before with the big operatic Yuzure music, and I'm like, God damn it, show, this is just padding. Why do you don't have to show us this. Just have her use the power if she's going to use the power. And then, like I said, they totally worked me, because she can't use the power for some reason. And it's like, oh, that's hilarious.
Dang. Honestly, from what I've been catching up on Trigger, I won't talk about it all. It's like a little happens, and it's very like babies. Each episode's just like, here's a bunch of action, which is.
It feels like a show that will binge rather well.
I mean, it worked okay with binging, but like I think I'll remember Trigger more as a collective than like a group. Which is kind of a shame, because it's supposed to be the New Generation Tiga. Tiga has some banger single episodes.
Fair
I know
enough.
it's trying something different, but like when you call yourself, there's a little expectation of disciple. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're into the Tigaverse.
That's all. Speaking of going into Vac, why don't you explain the things you watched? Old.
Yeah, because this week I also rewatched the what I and a few others that I've met affectionately refer to as the Kamen Rider Dark Ages trilogy, which, if you're not familiar, is Shin Kamen Rider Prologue, Kamen Rider Zeto, and Kamen Rider J. The free movies that were made during the 90s at the time when there were no Rider TV shows on, because I'm working on a special project that required me to it's a video. I'm making a video about them. It'll be out soon. But basically, yeah, they all still hold up in their own special ways. I mean, like, fucking, I'll just say here, Shin is not a good movie. I'll never say it's a good movie. It's a very poorly made film. There's a lot of shit in it that is just outright bad. But, like, there's still some good ideas in it. There's still some incredible special effects for the time. I really do wish we'd get a proper continuation of it, or at least like an explanation of what became of Shin and his child at some point somewhere. And I think I'm gonna have to make mention of that in the video.
Honestly. I feel like a manga would.
Yeah, like a manga or a Toei Tokusatsu fan club miniseries would be cool.
Yeah, I feel like if like just somewhat like feasible, you manga maybe like if you want to get higher budget, then maybe make an anime movie about it.
Mm-hmm. And like if you're gonna do anything that requires an actor, get the original actor back, because that guy.
That's why I'm like, why? Like, what's he doing? Because I don't know.
That's the thing, is like the poor guy has never been called back for anything, despite them always wheeling out the Shin suit for crossover movies. I'm like, come on, he can't be doing that much.
Yeah, I just don't know what he's doing. You know?
Oh my god, that's the other great thing is this time I watched them through the official Toei Tokusatsu World YouTube channel uploads. And the subs on them are pretty good. My only complaint is they don't subtitle the ending songs or like the musical sequence in Zeto. I did check the top comments on each movie, and I think my favorite comment on any of them is it's like the second or third comment on Shin's top comments is just somebody saying, imagine a crossover movie's climax where like all the riders are doing their badass henshin poses and Shin is just writhing in agony on the ground.
What if that might happen?
Oh god, I hope so.
Yeah.
And then Zeto, like fucking, what can you say about Zeto that hasn't already been said? It's a perfect fucking movie. It's so good.
Yeah, it's not even just a perfect Kamen Rider movie. It's a perfect.
Yeah, it's in my favorite movies. I'll say.
Like I can't wait to see like your break, because one of my most popular videos is a Zeto break.
Oh, sick. And then Jay, I was actually kind of thrown by Jay this time around because I've only watched it one time before, and I watched it in a bottle, and this time watching it back to back with the other movies, which are pretty straightforward street level biopunk action stories, it struck me a lot this time how much of like a departure Jay is in how it's a fantasy. There's a narrator that explains a whole lot of it, and it's got a slightly different pace and tone to it than the others. And I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. I do really like Jay. I just hadn't realized how different it was until this watch through.
Yeah, I know Zeto and Jay were like so I'm like maybe this, like, because I know Kenta and Miya did both, and I'm like, well, like, you probably wanted to like test what audience would they like, a bit more fantastical, or would they want a bit up?
Oh, and like something I just have to share with you, Buster, because I'm not sure if you're aware. Yeah. I was doing research on each movie as I was working on this video, and I'm still working on it, but I'm past the scripting stage now. I discovered that there was going to be a sequel to Zeto at one point, and he was going to get a secondary.
Ooh, like,
do you want to?
Yeah, I know. I think I know the name. I think it's gotten memed a bit.
Yeah, it's Kamen Rider Gay, Gay, literally.
I'm pretty sure that meant something else back in the day, but like
it probably did. But that is hilarious, especially when you see the design, and it's like it looks even more insectoid than Shin does.
Yeah, I like the concept art. I would love a continuation. Like, maybe not, like, Zeto's already a perfect movie, but I'd love if, like, Kademiya would, like, take a break from Garo and, like, come do, like, a...
I mean, he's taking a break from Garo right now, so what the hell's stopping him?
50th anniversary. Come on, go on, Toei. Ask Toei, hey, can I do something for your Tokusatsu Club thing? Eat it up.
Could you imagine? Oh, that would be the most blindside, but probably like most exciting 50th anniversary project if they just announced we're doing a sequel to each of the 90s movies. We're doing like those fucking direct to DVD Space Sheriff movies, but for the 90s writers. Yeah, is there anything you wanted to go over in terms of older stuff this week?
Heck, I did start watching MMPR, and I also watched the first episode of Three Hype.
Yeah. How's it hold up for you?
O's or MMPR?
O's, obviously.
Oh, one of the best first episodes. I probably say, like, every time, like, I watch it for a new episode of a show. I'm not even kidding. This is a banger. How do I describe it?
I mean, just the fucking... The way they transition into the theme song is so glorious.
Oh, yeah, well, like, the whole, like, yeah, that, and it establishes everything so well while still leaving room for, like, more to establish. It's like, you get these characters, you get, like, they're just, like, where they can... Yeah, honestly, it lays everything out, but, like, still, like, it does one of those hard things that I find that B pilots either fail or... It still lays its cards out, but it still keeps some hits.
Yeah. Like, you don't know a whole lot about Goto in that first episode, and he becomes, like, one of the most pivotal characters in the show.
Yeah, but you would understand the fundamentals to get you hooked. And that's important. Other than that, yeah. Good first episode. I'll watch more later because I'm gonna do a video on it. So yeah. I'm also writing the Forze and double reviews, which I'm actually gonna bundle double O's and how that works.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'll call it Megamax Trilogy.
All right. Well, fucking easy. Just call it the Neo Heisei Trilogy.
I guess, but I'll probably just say Kamen Rider's double O's and
fair enough.
And then like I'll have like maybe the Trilogy X.
Yeah. I'm still coming up with a actual title for my video. I'm trying to find something that will mention everything but still be grabbing.
Maybe those Kamen Rider movies from the Dark Ages.
Remember those Kamen Rider movies from the 90s? No, of course you don't. I'm gonna tell you about them now because I have a rider theory.
God. Probably stop now before we kill all.
Yeah. Alright, well, why don't you go ahead and tell the good people who you are and where they can find your stuff, Buster?
What's up, I'm Buster Corp. I do video essays. I gotta go right now, so yeah, go check out my YouTube channel, Buster Corp. Twitter, you can find it in the description of the channel. Bye!
Jesus Christ, that was sudden. Okay. Hey everybody, I'm the Vacuuminator, and if you want to check out my videos, go ahead and subscribe to me over at youtube.com/thevacuuminator. That's spelled THEVACUUMINATOR. I'm also on Twitter at the Vacuuminator, tweeting about anything and everything in how many characters is a tweet now or less. And yeah, that's gonna do it for this week in Tokusatsu. Shortest episode ever, probably, but we'll see you back here next week to find out whatever happens that week in Tokusatsu.